Ethan had always loved exploring. Even as a child on Earth, he would climb trees, crawl through caves, and tinker with gadgets he barely understood. Now, on the distant planet Aurelia 7, he had a new adventure. The planet was beautiful but dangerous, tall, forests with glowing plants, rivers that shimmered in colors he had never seen, and creatures that moved faster than his eyes could follow. He was not alone in his mission. He worked for Earth's Interstellar Exploration Agency, sent to study alien artifacts recently discovered beneath the surface. The agency wanted to understand the technology, but they had no idea how advanced it truly was. For Ethan, it was exciting. For everyone else, it was risky. One morning, while examining a strange structure half buried in the crystal-clear waters of a lake, Ethan noticed a panel glowing faintly. It pulsed with a soft blue light, almost like it was alive. He reached out and touched it. Immediately, a wave of energy shot through him and the world around him blurred. The sky spun, the ground disappeared, and his stomach dropped. Seconds later, he landed, softly but with a thud, on a floor that was impossibly smooth and shiny. He looked up. The ceiling was high and curved, made of a material he couldn't identify. Strange light patterns moved across it like stars traveling in a slow dance, and at the center of the room, sitting on a throne that seemed to float a few feet above the ground, was her. The woman, or whatever she was tall, elegant, and unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. Her skin shimmered in shades of violet, and her eyes glowed like molten gold. A crown-like structure extended from her head, framing her face. She wore flowing robes that seemed to ripple like liquid. Every movement she made was graceful, deliberate, and commanding. Ethan swallowed hard. Hello, he said. His voice sounded small in the massive room. The alien queen's eyes narrowed slightly. Then, she tilted her head, studying him. "You are human," she said. Her voice was melodic, yet every word carried weight as if it could shape reality. Ethan straightened his back, trying to look confident. "Yes, I'm Ethan. From Earth. I, found your palace?" He realized how ridiculous it sounded. "I didn't mean to intrude." The queen smiled. It was slow, deliberate, and a little mischievous. "You are brave or foolish. Few dare enter my domain uninvited." Ethan forced a nervous laugh. Maybe a little of both. She rose from her throne, moving closer. Her steps made no sound. "Tell me, human, what is your purpose here?" I was exploring. Studying artifacts. Learning. That's all." Ethan said honestly. "I mean no harm." She tilted her head again, golden eyes studying his face. "You are curious. Different. Humans are not like other species I have met. You are bold in ways I did not expect." Ethan blinked. He wanted to ask her how many species she had met, but the words got caught in his throat. Instead, he tried humor. "Well, I do have a reputation for being bold, and sometimes funny. Some might even say charming." He grinned, half to hide his fear. The queen paused. Then, unexpectedly, she smiled wider. "Charming, you say? Bold and charming. Perhaps you are more than a visitor. Perhaps—" She leaned forward slightly, her glowing eyes fixed on him. "Perhaps you could be something more." Ethan's stomach flipped. He laughed nervously. Like a friend?" She chuckled softly, a sound that made the air vibrate. "Perhaps like a companion, a partner, a mate." Ethan's mind raced. A mate? Him? To her? He stumbled for words. I don't think I mean, that's impossible." The queen's smile never faded. "Impossible? Bold humans often find the impossible within reach. Tell me, human, would you make a wonderful mate?" Ethan's brain froze. Then, trying to lighten the tension, he blurted out a joke, as if speaking carefully would make it less real. "Well, if you think about it, You would make a wonderful wife, he said, pointing at her with an awkward gesture. I mean, joking. Totally joking. For a moment, silence filled the room. Ethan could feel his heart pounding in his chest. He swallowed. Right? Joke, huh? The Queen's smile widened. Her golden eyes glimmered with something that made Ethan's stomach drop. I accept, she said simply. Human. You amuse me. And I find your boldness refreshing. Ethan stumbled backward a step. Wait. What? You heard me, she said, her voice calm but commanding. I accept, human. Ethan's mind was spinning. This was not in any training manual. This was not in any protocol. He had not even finished his coffee this morning, and now he was, somehow, engaged or betrothed, or whatever this meant, to the queen of a species he barely understood. She extended a hand, delicate and glowing, yet stronger than anything he had felt. Come, let us talk. There is much to learn, about each other, and about this world. Ethan took a shaky breath and stepped forward. Yes, of course. Talking, learning, totally fine. As they walked together through corridors lined with glowing murals and floating lights, Ethan realized that his life had changed forever. He was no longer just an explorer. He was now entangled in something far bigger, something that could shape the future of humans and aliens alike. And deep inside, he felt a spark of excitement. Fear, yes, but also wonder. Somehow, he had always wanted an adventure. He just never imagined it would begin with being accepted by an alien queen. Little did he know, this was only the beginning. The universe had plans for him, plans that would test his courage, his wit, and his very humanity. Ethan followed the alien queen, Lysera, through corridors that seemed to stretch forever. The walls shimmered with colors he could not name, and strange symbols floated gently in the air, glowing like tiny stars. Every step he took made him feel smaller, yet somehow more alive. Lysera moved gracefully, her robes flowing behind her, like liquid. Ethan noticed that she did not speak much as they walked. Instead, she observed him carefully, her golden eyes tracking his every move. Ethan tried not to fidget, but he could feel the weight of her gaze. Finally, they arrived in a large hall. The ceiling was impossibly high, and floating platforms hovered above, connected by glowing bridges. In the center of the room was a console, of alien design, its surface alive with moving symbols and lights. Lysera turned to him. Human, you amuse me. You are clever yet untested. You understand courage and humor. But your intelligence will be tested. Your heart will be tested. Are you prepared? Ethan raised an eyebrow. Tested? Like school tests? Or like dangerous tests? Lysera's smile was faint, but it held a warning. Both. You will face challenges. They are meant to reveal your mind, your spirit, and your courage. Many who fail do not return. Ethan swallowed. Okay. Well, I guess I don't have much choice. Let's do it. Lysera gestured toward the console. The first challenge is simple, in appearance. Solve the puzzle of light and path. Only then may you proceed. Ethan stepped closer. The console was a three-dimensional hologram, shapes moving and shifting constantly. Colors danced and lines formed patterns he had never seen before. He reached out, touching the hologram carefully. At first, nothing happened. Then, the shapes responded to his movements, moving faster and rearranging themselves. Ethan's mind raced. He remembered games from Earth, logic puzzles, and even the training simulations from the agency. Slowly, he began to notice patterns. He nudged one shape this way, rotated another that way, and the puzzle began to align. Lysera watched silently, her arms crossed. Ethan's fingers moved quickly, his mind sharp. Finally, with one last adjustment, the shapes clicked into perfect alignment. A soft chime echoed through the hall. You are clever, Lysera said. Many aliens fail at the first task. Few humans reach this level so quickly. Ethan grinned, relief washing over him. Well, humans are good at problem solving. Sometimes we overcomplicate things, but we get there. Lysera's eyes sparkled. Your next test will challenge your courage. Follow me. She led him to a balcony that overlooked a vast chasm. Below he could see a glowing river of liquid light. Strange creatures swam through it, creatures that looked like a mix of jellyfish and dragon. The air above the chasm shimmered with heat, and the wind whipped around him. You must retrieve the crystal from the center of the chasm, Lysera said. It is guarded. Only the brave, and those with quick minds, can succeed. Ethan stared. The chasm looked impossible to cross. The floating platforms above seemed unstable, and the creatures below looked hungry, but he nodded. All right, I guess this is part of the adventure. He leaped onto the first platform, testing its balance. It wobbled but held. Carefully he jumped to the next, then the next, moving quickly and keeping his eyes on the glowing crystal in the center. One platform shook violently, but Ethan grabbed its edge and pulled himself onto solid ground. As he reached the final platform, one of the creatures lunged at him. He ducked, rolled, and used a small gadget he carried, a net made of energy, to trap it temporarily. With a final leap, he grabbed the crystal. Its light pulsed in his hand, warm and alive. Lysera clapped softly. You are courageous. Many would turn back fearing failure or death. You face danger with calm and wit. That is unusual for your kind. Ethan smiled, trying not to breathe too heavily. Well, when the stakes are high, humans do what they must. We adapt. The Queen's gaze softened, just a little. Adaptation? Yes. That is why I find humans intriguing. You survive in ways aliens cannot. You think differently. You feel differently. This is valuable. Ethan stood on the balcony with Lysera, looking down at the alien city sprawling below. Towering buildings glowed with soft colors, and vehicles moved like silent fish through the air. The city seemed alive, pulsing with energy he had never seen on Earth. He felt both awe and a strange sense of connection. Lysera watched him closely. Do you find my world frightening? She asked. Ethan shook his head. Not frightening. Amazing. I've seen planets before, but nothing like this. Your people, your technology. It's incredible. The Queen's golden eyes softened. Few humans appreciate it. Most focus on fear. You see differently. That is why you intrigue me. He laughed nervously. I guess humans are good at adapting. We see possibilities where others see walls. Lysera's smile widened slightly. Yes, adaptation, courage, humor. Humans are strange, yet valuable. And you embody these qualities more than most. Ethan felt warmth in his chest. Praise from the Queen was rare. He had expected tests, challenges, maybe even danger. But not this kind of recognition. He realized he respected her more than he had expected too. There was wisdom in her eyes and a strength he had never known. Lysera led him into a garden high above the city. Bioluminescent flowers glowed in shades of blue and purple, and gentle streams of water floated in the air as if gravity did not exist. Strange creatures moved among the plants, curious but gentle. Humans have gardens too, Ethan said, trying to find common ground. But nothing like this. Yours feels alive. Lysera observed him as he walked slowly among the plants. Everything here is alive, human. Life flows differently on Aurelia 7, and yet, you notice details. You pay attention. That is rare. Most beings overlook what is right in front of them. Ethan smiled. I guess paying attention has helped me survive. On Earth, and now here. Lysera's gaze turned serious. There is more than beauty in this world, human. You have shown bravery and cleverness, but not all my people welcome outsiders. There are those who would see me removed. You may not understand their motives, but they exist. Ethan's stomach tightened. You mean someone might try to attack you? Yes, Lysera said simply. Power is never easily held, and outsiders, even ones who amuse me, are viewed with suspicion. I will need allies who can think differently, who can act boldly. Ethan nodded. He felt a surge of determination. Then I will help. Whatever I can do, I'll do it. Lysera tilted her head, surprised. You are loyal quickly. Few beings earn trust so fast, and yet, you do not seek reward. That is unusual for your kind. Ethan shrugged. I don't know. I just think when you care about someone, you help. That's how humans are. The Queen smiled faintly, her eyes softening. You have a kind heart, human, and that is why I enjoy your company. For the next few days, Ethan explored the palace and its surroundings. He learned more about Lysera's culture, the rules of her court, and the ways her people thought. He found that aliens were clever but sometimes too rigid. Their lives were governed by tradition, and creativity was often limited by protocol. Ethan, in contrast, approached problems simply. He fixed a broken communication device by thinking like a human engineer. He solved a logistics problem in the palace kitchens that had puzzled alien staff for weeks. Each time, Lysera observed quietly, her golden eyes shining with approval. You are clever, she said one evening as they watched the twin moons rise over the palace. Your mind is not just sharp, it is alive. Humans think differently. You find solutions we cannot. That is why you remain remarkable. Ethan laughed softly. I just do what comes naturally. I guess it's good for humans to think outside the box sometimes. Lysera tilted her head, her expression unreadable. Your humor, your courage, your cleverness. All these are rare. I have met rulers, warriors, scholars, and yet you impress me most. Ethan felt his cheeks warm. He had never received such praise, and it was strange, thrilling, and intimidating all at once. As days passed, they shared stories of their worlds. Ethan told her about Earth's oceans, mountains, and cities. He spoke of human inventions, simple joys, and the challenges of life. Lysera shared tales of her empire, of planets under her rule, of wars fought and won, and of the delicate balance she maintained to keep her people safe. Ethan realized that beneath her regal exterior, Lysera carried a heavy burden. She was not just a queen. She was a protector, a strategist, and a leader who had to think constantly about the lives of billions. One night, as they watched the stars from a floating terrace, Ethan dared a question. Lysera, do you ever feel lonely, even with all this power? The Queen was silent for a moment, then she said softly, Lonely? Yes. Responsibility isolates. Few understand the weight of a crown that spans worlds. Few see the person beneath it. Ethan's heart went out to her. Well, maybe humans can help. We are not perfect, but we care. And sometimes caring is stronger than power. Lysera looked at him, golden eyes reflecting starlight. You surprise me, human. Boldness, courage, kindness, humor. You bring qualities to my life I have not known in ages. That is why I value you. Ethan's mind raced. He had never imagined that his humor, courage, and simple human heart could reach across worlds and touch an alien queen. And yet, here he was, feeling more alive, more challenged, and more connected than ever before. Little did he know, his bond with Lysera would soon be tested. Forces within her empire, jealous and suspicious, were already stirring. And the choices he made next could shape not only their relationship, but the future of humans and aliens alike. For now, though, he smiled, feeling a spark of hope. He had stepped into a world far beyond Earth, and for the first time in his life, he felt truly needed, truly understood, and perhaps truly alive. Ethan woke to the sound of alarms echoing through the palace. Red lights flashed across the walls and the air shimmered with tension. He rushed to Lysera's chambers, heart pounding. Ethan, Lysera called as he entered. Her golden eyes glowed brighter than ever, reflecting both urgency and determination. The rival factions have moved. They plan to attack the palace tonight. You must help me. Ethan's stomach flipped. Attack? How? We've been careful. No one knew I was here. Lysera's voice was calm but firm. You underestimate them. They have spies everywhere. We have little time. You must act quickly and use your human ingenuity. Ethan nodded. His mind raced. He had never fought in a palace siege, but he had repaired machines, solved puzzles, and adapted to alien systems. He could do this. He had to. Lysera led him to the central command room. Holographic maps floated above the table, showing enemy positions approaching from multiple directions. Soldiers prepared for battle, their weapons glowing with strange energy. You see, human, Lysera said, strategy is not enough. They anticipate standard tactics. You must think differently, as you have before. Ethan studied the map. Most humans would panic in this situation, but he focused. He noticed a pattern in the enemy's movement, predictable but only if one thought like a human, not an alien. I have an idea, Ethan said. We can use the palace's energy field to create decoys. They'll think we're somewhere we're not, and it will confuse their forces. Lysera raised an eyebrow. Interesting, but it requires precise timing. Few humans could manage such coordination under pressure. Ethan smiled nervously. I've handled tricky problems before, let's try. He rushed to the control panel, adjusting settings with careful hands. Lights pulsed, energy shifted, and holographic images of soldiers appeared in multiple locations. When the enemy arrived, they saw dozens of forces where there were none. Confused, they hesitated. Lysera watched silently, impressed. Clever. Very clever. Human. But the danger was not over. A group of elite attackers breached the palace gates. Ethan grabbed a strange alien weapon, its weight unfamiliar but manageable. He felt the adrenaline surge through him. Stay close, Lysera said, leading him through secret corridors. We must reach the main chamber and protect the core. Ethan followed, ducking under obstacles, leaping over streams of floating water, and avoiding guards who had been turned by rival factions. His human reflexes gave him an edge. Aliens were precise but slower in adapting to sudden changes. Finally, they reached the core chamber. The energy core pulsed with light, and Ethan understood instantly. If the attackers damaged it, the palace could collapse, and countless lives would be lost. I'll handle the core, Ethan said, already analyzing the system. You deal with them outside. Lysera's eyes glimmered. We will see how clever you truly are, human. Minutes passed, though it felt like hours. Ethan worked quickly, rewiring connections, diverting energy flows, and reinforcing shields. Sweat dripped from his brow, but he did not stop. He could hear the sounds of battle outside, the clash of alien weapons, the shouts of soldiers, and Lysera's commanding voice. Finally, the core stabilized. Ethan leaned back, breathing heavily. Done, they won't breach this, at least not easily. Lysera entered the chamber, her robe slightly torn, her expression serious but proud. You are remarkable, human. Your courage, your skill. It saved lives tonight. Few beings could do what you did. Ethan shook his head. I just did what needed to be done. Humans adapt. We find solutions when the impossible appears. The Queen studied him, golden eyes softening. Yes, that is why I value you. Not only for your mind, but for your heart. You are unusual, even among humans. Outs. Days passed after the palace siege, and the atmosphere in the alien court began to calm. Loyalists celebrated their victory, while rival factions retreated into shadows, their plans thwarted by Ethan's cleverness and Lysera's leadership. The palace, once tense with danger, now shimmered with an uneasy peace. Ethan walked beside Lysera through the palace gardens. Bioluminescent flowers lit their path, floating in the air, casting soft glows on the marble walkways. Strange creatures moved gracefully among the petals, curious but calm. Ethan felt a sense of wonder and calm. something he hadn't felt in a long time. "Your people are amazing," Ethan said. "Even after all the challenges, they remain loyal. I can see why. You are their queen." Lizara's golden eyes softened. "Loyalty is earned, human, and courage, cleverness, even humor can inspire devotion. You have shown qualities many cannot. That is why I value you." Ethan smiled nervously, feeling a strange warmth in his chest. "I just try to do what is right. Humans help when it matters most. I guess that's what makes us human." Lysera tilted her head, her gaze steady. "Yes, and that is why I trust you, human. More than most." Ethan chuckled awkwardly. "Well, trust is good, I guess. But I didn't expect to earn it. From a queen in my first week here." Lysera's lips curved into a faint, playful smile. "Perhaps it is your human nature that surprises me and delights me." They walked in silence for a while, enjoying the calm night. The twin moons of Aurelia 7 reflected in the streams, creating a shimmering path beneath their feet. Ethan's mind wandered, thinking about the journey that had brought him here, from Earth to this alien world through puzzles, tests, and battles. And now, he realized he had grown attached to the Queen, more than he had expected. As they approached a balcony overlooking the city, Lysera stopped and turned to him. "Human, there is something I wish to show you." Ethan followed her gaze. Below, the city was alive with celebration. Aliens cheered for their queen and her loyal protector, unaware of the small, private moment taking place above. "I have considered your human qualities," Lysera said softly. "Your courage, your cleverness, your heart. They are rare, extraordinary, and I have found myself thinking of you in ways I did not anticipate." Ethan's heart raced. He could not believe what he was hearing. "Lysera, I feel the same. I never expected to care for an alien queen, but I do." The queen stepped closer, her golden eyes reflecting the twin moons. "You have shown me that humans can be remarkable, that humor, courage, and heart can influence even a ruler of billions. And I find your presence comforting and compelling." Ethan swallowed hard. "Well, if I may be honest, I joked when I said you'd make a wonderful wife." His cheeks flushed. "It was a joke, but now, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't entirely a joke." Lysera's lips curved into a smile that made Ethan's stomach flip. "I remember your words, human. Bold, humorous, and foolish. Perhaps, but also truthful. And I accept them." Ethan's eyes widened. "Wait, you accept the joke?" Lysera stepped closer. "I accept you. Bold human, clever human, brave human. I find you admirable. I accept you." Ethan's mind struggled to process the moment. He had faced puzzles, dangers, and alien politics, but this was something he had never imagined. He laughed nervously, then smiled. "So, you're saying you want me by your side?" "Yes," Lysera said softly. "Not merely as a guest, but as a partner. Perhaps more." Ethan took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of excitement, fear, and wonder. "Well, I don't know what to say. I accept too if you want me." The Queen's eyes sparkled. "I do, human, and the court will learn, in time, that humans can be trusted and valued, that you are worthy of recognition." Ethan laughed softly, a little awkwardly. "I guess I'll have to learn alien customs too then. I've handled puzzles, chasms, and battles. Now, I'll tackle etiquette." Lysera's laughter joined his, melodic and warm. "You will find that your human nature challenges our traditions in ways that are refreshing and perhaps necessary." In the days that followed, preparations for a ceremonial union began. Ethan learned about alien traditions, blending them with human practices. Advisors and court officials were initially skeptical, but Lysera's unwavering support and Ethan's ingenuity won their respect. Ethan found himself adapting quickly. He helped design decorations that combined human and alien styles, suggested improvements to ceremonial procedures, and even introduced small humorous touches that eased tension among the court. Through it all, Ethan and Lysera spent time together, learning each other's worlds. He discovered the Queen's sense of humor, her love for simple beauty, and her fierce loyalty to her people. She learned about human resilience, ingenuity, and the ways Ethan's heart guided his actions. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the palace, Lysera took Ethan's hand. "Human, you have proven that courage, cleverness, and heart matter. And I wish to honor that. You are no longer a guest, you are my partner, in ways that few have ever known." Ethan's heart raced. "I will do my best, Lysera. Always." The Queen smiled, golden eyes gleaming. "And that is enough. Together we will face whatever comes, your human nature, your humor, your courage. It will guide us both." Ethan realized in that quiet moment that his life had changed forever. He was no longer simply an explorer. He was part of something far larger, a bond between worlds. And for the first time, he truly understood the meaning of adventure, trust, and connection. He laughed softly. "Well, I guess my joke turned out better than I expected." Lysera smiled, her hand tightening around his. "Yes, human. And the universe will never be the same again. Word count. 950, if you want. I can now write part 6, the final part, where the ceremony takes place, alliances solidify, and the day of the ceremony arrived. The palace was alive with light, color, and movement. Bioluminescent flowers floated in the air, casting gentle glows across the marble floors. Streams of water hung in midair, twisting gracefully like ribbons, and the twin moons of Aurelia 7 shone brighter than ever, reflecting off the floating platforms. Ethan stood beside Lysera, his hands slightly trembling. Despite all the adventures, battles, and puzzles he had faced, nothing had prepared him for this. Humans were not accustomed to royal ceremonies, let alone alien ones. But he took a deep breath and reminded himself that courage, cleverness, and heart had brought him this far. Lysera's eyes met his, golden and warm, and Ethan felt a calm wash over him. She gave a small nod, a silent reassurance that he was ready. He smiled nervously, trying to hide his excitement. The palace doors opened and guests began to arrive. Aliens of every shape and size moved gracefully into the main hall, their robes flowing and their expressions curious. Some whispered among themselves, skeptical about the union of a human and their queen. Others watched with fascination, eager to see what this bold human had to offer. Lysera stepped forward, regal and confident. Her robes shimmered with the colors of the stars, and her crown glowed softly. Ethan followed her, feeling slightly out of place, but he reminded himself he was here because of who he was, not because of status or appearance. The ceremony began with a fusion of human and alien traditions. Ethan's hand was guided into rituals he barely understood, but he followed Lysera's lead. The guests watched as human ingenuity and alien elegance merged seamlessly. Where alien practices were rigid, Ethan's human instincts introduced small, clever touches that made the ceremony more joyful and personal. At one point, he accidentally pressed a panel, causing streams of floating lights to swirl around the room in playful patterns. Gasps turned into laughter, and even Lysera's advisor smiled. Ethan shrugged, embarrassed, but Lysera laughed softly and squeezed his hand. "Only you, human," she whispered, "could turn a ceremony into an adventure." The climax of the ceremony came when Lysera turned to Ethan. "Human," she said, her voice echoing with authority and warmth, "you have shown courage, cleverness, and a heart worthy of trust. You have faced danger and challenge, and yet you have remained yourself. I accept you not as a guest, but as my partner in all things. Will you remain by my side? Ethan's heart pounded. All the trials, all the puzzles, all the dangers had led to this moment. He swallowed and nodded, voice steady despite the excitement. Yes, I will, always. The guests erupted in applause and cheers. Aliens who had doubted him before now watched with admiration. Humans long underestimated had proven that courage, ingenuity, and heart could bridge worlds. Ethan felt a deep sense of pride, not arrogance, but the pride of someone who had stayed true to his values and skills. Lysera smiled, her golden eyes reflecting the twin moons. Then let this union symbolize a new era, a partnership of worlds, where humans and aliens may learn, grow, and thrive together. The ceremony ended with a display of light and energy, blending human fireworks with alien bioluminescence. Streams of floating lights danced across the palace, reflecting in every surface, and Ethan realized that the impossible had become real. In the days that followed, the palace settled into a new rhythm. Ethan was no longer just a guest. He was a trusted partner, advisor, and friend to the Queen. His human perspective brought fresh solutions to old problems, and his humor lightened the tension in ways no alien could. Lysera's people gradually accepted him. They saw his courage, cleverness, lauded. Again,